Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. Today, we're going to be talking about Arcane Rising. We're going to do a market update and evaluate what the kind of overall prices are and everything, but also tell you if it's worth it to open some boxes. So before I get there, I'd like to do some shout outs to things, to Mitch, Midtown Merchant, blah, blah, blah. But before I do that, or actually instead of doing that, I want to highlight one thing that we got going on. If you go to KitchenTableTCG.com, you can actually click a link and you can sign up for our live stream charity event that we're doing. Me, Mitch, and George from Compete Sports and Mitch from Midtown Merchant are doing a 84 box opening of Monarch First Edition. You can sign up to donate money per legendary that we pull, and for each legendary we pull, we will donate the money to two causes. One is going to be 50% of the money will go to ALS research. The Loy Stewart and George C. Wendt Professorship for ALS research, and that's benefiting ALS, and then 50% of the money will go towards Alzheimer's, that we'll kind of figure out what organization it's going to go to as well. Both the three of us all have family members who have passed away or struggled with Alzheimer's or ALS, and so those are things that are near and dear to our hearts. So we've had like 90 people sign up to donate money. You can be part of that. Just donate 50 cents, $1. You can put in a penny, whatever you want to donate per legendary that we pull. All that money will go towards a good cause. It just gives us a reason to do something really cool. We were going to do the stream anyway. We figured we might as well make it something interesting and an ability for the community to be a part of it in some special way. So, all right, without further ado, let's head into looking at Arcane Rising. All right, so box prices for Unlimited are sitting about the same at the $95 range. You know, with everyone's attention here on Monarch, no one's really thinking about boxes, and certainly Unlimited, no one's really focused on that. So let's get to the Fable. The Eye of Ophidia actually up a little bit this week, up to $700. Let me pop up sold listings for you. So a couple sold at $700, one at $675, and then earlier in the week, one sold at $640. But really $700 seems to be the market price for a unlimited Eye of Ophidia. That is up 9%. It is equal, now actually it's still a little bit down from the high that we had back in the first of the year at 725, but we're getting to the all-time high. We're kind of close to that. Legendaries, not much movement at all in the legendaries, down 1% again this week, but really no movement. Your Teklo Foundry Heart still sitting at 115, Skullbone Crosswrap at 120, Grasp the Arknight at 120, let's see, Stormstriders at 115, and Arknight Skullcap at 210. That puts your average legendary sitting at $136 per legendary, and that's down 1%, as you can see. And I can't say this enough, this shows the health of the game, where the legendaries are pretty solidly, you know, when it first came out they were up higher, but you know, pretty much never seeing below this kind of range. So it seems like a pretty even keel market for them, which kind of shows the health of the game, but there's enough product in the hands of the players right now, which is good. Let's get to the Majestic Rainbow Foils. So one of the biggest things to talk about is Art of War, one of those cards that people were speccing on, and not just in the first edition, but also in the Unlimited edition, people speccing on it as well, up from $40 to $70. Okay, so Art of War is an instant, and instants seem to be very effective in Monarch with the things that are coming up, and the card's just really good, works really well with other instants. So I think that's where we're seeing the price of that card skyrocket. The rest of the cards kind of sitting pretty much where they were last week, no significant changes. But that puts your average price up 10% to $35.55 for your Rainbow Foil Majestic. So a nice little tick up, getting close. You know, our kind of all-time high was back at the beginning of the year at $42, but we were moving back up that direction this past week. We've had 3 or 4 weeks, actually 5 weeks of declines, and now that kind of Art of War card pushed it up. So the Majestics are very, very similar for the non-foils. Actually, your Art of War up to $55, closing in on the Command and Conquer, which is pretty cool. Up from $17 to $54, kind of crazy. All that's kind of due to spoiler season, right? Like that's kind of what happens. So TCG Player got bought out up to the $55 range, and we'll see what happens kind of in this next week to see if those prices stick. All in all, that's up 24%. Your average is sitting at $20.17. No other significant movements here. Kind of all the same. Most of the speccing has actually happened on Crucible, which we talked a little bit about yesterday. The super rare rainbow foils, your average is also up 10%, sitting at 492 this week. No significant movements. Become the Arcane up to 850. Nothing terribly, a lot of like the 75-cent increases, 30-cent increases. Nothing really to write home about, but a 10% increase off of a couple weeks of little to no movement, even negative movement a month ago, isn't anything to just joke about. But these super rares kind of, they're just flat. They're going to be flat because they were up and then they've tanked down. And I think they'll just kind of continue to be flat. The regular super rares sitting on an average of 239. That's a 4% increase. Again, just nothing significant. These are just like little changes in prices that could just be, when I pull the data and all that kind of thing. Some of them are going up, some of them are going down, but all in all, a 4% increase this week. The rare rainbow foils, just remember on the rare cards, I only use TCG low. So sellers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 all time are always lowering the prices. So this week we're down 10% to an average of $1.30, $1.23. And the rares, the same reason, the same thing happens. And we're down 4% for an average of 19 cents. All right, let's go on to the EV calculation. So in each box of Arcane Rising, you will get 42 rares. You'll get 4 foil rares, 4 super rares, 1 foil super rare, 2 majestics, and 1 in every 4 boxes you'll get a foil majestic. 1 in every 4 boxes you'll get a chance at a legendary, and 1 in 40 you'll get a chance at hitting that Fable. So that puts you at an average of your 40 boxes. If you open 40 boxes, you'll hit $127.92. And your one box, if you're just opening one box, you won't hit the legendary, you won't hit the fabled. So your box is going to sit more like $76.42. If you have one of each card in this version, which is 1 foil and 1 non-foil, you'll be sitting at $1,364.24. So let's take this number and compare it to last week, $127.92. I think I have to adjust it, actually, $127.92. That's up 8% from last week. Last week we had a dip down to the 118. So at $127.92 this week, which is, it's good to see some increases. Let's look at the top cards. Obviously, Art of War was the most significant increase from 40 to 70. It's a 75% gain. The Rusted Relic, it doesn't really matter. 25 cents, 50 cents, no real significant gains to talk about. Again, same thing for the non-foil gainers. Art of War up 200%. Rapid Fire up 50 cents in the second place. Cards that lost the most value. Chains of Eminence lost 11%. Really nothing to talk about here, guys, in cards that lost value. Chains of Eminence both ways around, both foil and non-foil, lost about 30%. Non-foil lost 30%. Foil, only it's 30 cents. Nobody really cares. So some of the legendaries also down just $4 or $5. Again, nothing significant. So all right, let's get to talking about Arcane Rising First Edition. Before we get there, I just want to say, I meant to say at the beginning, my spoiler goes out tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's an hour and 30 minutes from right now at 7:30. So if you catch this video before then, make sure you check out my spoiler video. Even if you don't, still go watch my spoiler video. The card's pretty cool. It's right here. You can't see it yet. You can't see it yet. All right, so let's talk about Arcane Rising First Edition. Keep in mind, I just show you the market, the market where it is right now. I kind of keep my opinions more to my podcast, which is behind my Patreon. But boxes sitting at $3,900. There was an interesting sale at $3,300 that ended today. But yesterday we saw a $3,950, a $37. We've seen some $3,700s, another $39. So I'm going to keep this at $39 because auctions in Flesh and Blood tend to end a little bit less. And this one also looks like it's got a little bit of, let's look at it actually. It just doesn't seem like the absolute cleanest box that I've ever seen of Flesh and Blood. It's got a little denting there. I don't know. Maybe I'm being over dramatic. It is a nice box though. Maybe it is nice. I don't know. I don't want to say it's bad. I'm sure it's good. But the point being, it is an auction, and auctions always sell for less in Flesh and Blood. Let's see if it is an acrylic. It comes with a Viscera playmat. Dang, I should have been getting that. Looks sweet. They've got a lot of Arc First Editions coming too. All right, anyway, I just didn't want to use that as it kind of seems like an outlier based on the other sales this week. and based on what the kind of currently listed cards are. So I didn't want to put that as the kind of price. Anyway, let's move on. That is down from last week though. We saw, this is people selling off their product, right? When you see a 75% increase, you're going to start seeing more people come to the market to kind of take and lock in their profits. But all right, the Fable, we did have 2 sales of an Eye of Ophidia this week. One sold, buy it now, for $25,000, and then one sold last night for $22,100. So that one was on auction, and like I said, auctions tend to move less in Flesh and Blood than the buy it now prices. But 2 very close to 25,000. I'm going to go ahead and lock this in at 23.5 and meet it right in the middle. But that's a 24% increase over last week. And, we've seen a lot of increases in the last couple of weeks on the Eye as it seems to be hot, and the Heart is also moving up too. So a lot of focus is on the Fables right now. The legendary cards. There was a Teklo Foundry Heart that sold on Facebook for $2,000. That's why I put this in orange for you. I got it at $2,500 still from last week. The pictures weren't great on it. It was on the market for like very, very little amount of time. Let's skip this song. This is like that one song that whatever. It was on the market for like less than 2 or 3 hours. It moved very, very quick at $2,000, and then there wasn't that many great photos of it. So I thought that it was a little too low for the market price based on the other cards. So I'm going to leave this at $2,500, but I wanted to make sure I said, I didn't not see the card. It was at $2,000. That just seemed very low based on the price of all the other legendaries. So Skullbone Crosswrap, haven't seen a sale for that in a couple weeks. We saw Grass the Arknight sell for $2,600 and a Storm Strider sell for $2,800. No Arknight Skullcap that I saw. Puts your average legendary at $2,760, $2,760, minus 4% there this week. We saw a huge increase, and whenever you see a huge increase, you can expect to have a little bit of retracements before the kind of slow market kind of moves up. Cold Foil Commons, a lot of the same here, guys. A lot of the same. Less sales of Cold Foil Commons this week, and I think the reason for that is that sellers are putting these at like $900 to $1,000 right now on eBay. If you go to eBay and search, most of the Cold Foil Commons from WTR are sitting at about $1,000 as buy it now prices, if you can even buy them, and most of the Arcane are sitting at like the $800 to $900. And so sellers and buyers are just kind of disagreeing right now on what the exact price is in the market. And so what you're starting to see is just less being sold as people kind of put their money into Monarch, and sellers aren't really willing to give up the cards because they believe in them. Now, the one thing I did want to say is that I put these in orange for you. There are 4 cards on TCG Player, Null Rune, all Null Rune, sitting at like the 445, 450 range. Now, I put these in orange for you because all the cards are from the same seller. Like the same seller has all, I think 4 or 3 of them currently listed at the 450 range, and that seems low to me based on, again, where the market was last week. So maybe that specific seller doesn't know the prices have increased since, 2 weeks ago. I'm guessing they probably do though. Anyway, I just wanted to say, if you are selling cards, I would not use these $450 prices because the average seems to be higher than the 450. Especially last week, and especially with the Null Rune where like a lot of people will need them. But I'm just here to tell you the facts, and the facts are that currently you can buy this on the open market for $445 to $600. So that being said, they did sell for more last week at the $700 and $650 range. A little dip there. Again, when you see 50%, 45% gains 2 weeks in a row, you can expect to see a dip in the market price. Majestic Rainbow Foils, these cards don't move, and eventually Cold Foil Commons are going to get there too. Eventually the Legendaries are going to get there. The cards don't move. I mean, they don't get sold. They don't get put on the market. Nobody buys them. Nobody sells them. So that's my opinion. They're not nowhere to be found. Even listed, they're nowhere to be found. The regular Majestic, so lots of movement here. High Octane at 60, Teklo Core at 60, Arknight Ascendancy at 50, Mordred Tide at 65, and then an Art of War. We saw significant movement in the Art of War at 195. That puts your average at 94.40, up 11%. The super rares, not a ton of movement here. We did see an Induction Chamber sell for 120, a Knock the Death Whistle for 130, Everything that kind of puts everything down 2%. The last Knock the Death Whistle was at 200. Again, these are so rare to find sold in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Average sitting at $105.13. Super rare. Just a couple of these move too. Again, Chains of Eminence, Pursuit of Knowledge, both moving a little bit. That's a gain of 5% for your average super rare sitting at $15.21. I did want to look. Oh, Art of War. I did not see a sold listing for the Art of War Rainbow Foil. I would anticipate that this would be higher now based on the Monarch spoilers, closer to the Command and Conquer price. All right, Rainbow Foil rares. There is decent money in the rares. $20 for the Rainbow Foil. Keep in mind this is TCG player low again. And the rares even have some value too, sitting in an average of $2. That's a gain of, we have 4 or 5 weeks in a row that sellers have risen prices on these rares. So don't sleep on those rare cards if you've got a collection of them. And same thing to be said about the common coil-foils. Like, sellers have again risen their prices, and historically they are going up. So people are buying these on TCG Player. If my kind of theory is that if the price isn't going down, that means that they are being purchased at around the price that they are being listed at. So that's kind of my theory on that. So 11% increase this past week. All right, let's look at your EV calculation. If you were to open 40 boxes of Arcane Rising, your average box would be sitting at around $2,718.41. If you take out the non-foil commons, you would be sitting at $2,507.88. So, you're not going to sell all those non-foil commons, so that's where it is. But if you open just one box, you're not going to hit the Fable, you're not going to hit a Legendary, you'll be sitting more like $1,230.38. And then if you have one card of each, like one type of each card, one Rainbow Foil, one non-foil, and one Cold Foil, your master set would be worth $95,040. And this is the price we track here, this 2507. So let's see where we are there. 2507.88. 2507.88. That puts us up 3% from this week to last week. So up 3% compared to the 2428 from last week. 2507.88. That's right? All right, so let's go to our top cards to gain value. A couple cold foil commons on this. 1, 2, 3, 4 cold foil commons still in the top 10 foil gainers list. Vest of the First Fist going from 300 to 425 for a gain of $125 or 41%. Induction Chamber, that super rare foil, 85 to 120 for a gain of 41%. And the Eye of Ophidia here at moving from $19,000 to $23,500. That's a gain of 23% or $4,500 on the Eye of Ophidia. And then we did have like Norrund Boots, Storm Striders, lots of high value cards moving up. That's what we're seeing a lot of. Like the high value cards are moving up and the low value cards just don't move as much. So non-foil gainers, the Rusted Relic, the Mordred Tide, and of course the Art of War. This Mordred Tide was a rough sale last week at $38. 65 seems to be like more of a middle of the road for the Majestic, so that's probably a more acceptable price. Rusted Relic going 100% from $75 to $15. Cards that lost the most value, again, those kind of cold foils were also a little bit light, as some of the higher valued ones from last week kind of came down more to the averages. So Norrund Robe moving from $730 to the current listed price on TCG was there was one for $450. Knock the Death Whistle moving from $200 to $130. That's a 35% decrease. The Norrund Robe was 38%. And Robe of Rapture too, moving from $800 to $600, the 25% decrease. So just remember, as more buyers enter the market, as more kind of card prices go up, that causes more sellers to come into the market. And so we're going to always see these ebbs and flows. We've seen significant gains. I'm talking about those cold foil commons. We've seen significant gains over the last 2 weeks. And so now more sellers are taking their profits before, we'll start potentially seeing some more movement on that. The cards, the non-foil cards, just 2 of them. We actually had Arcane Rising First Edition box, did lose 2%. And then the Arknight Ascendancy moving from 69 to 50. That's a 19% loss or 27%. Anyway, hope you guys have a good day. Remember, my spoiler card comes out in now just about an hour. Hope you guys can catch the video then. Can't wait. And then again, remember, if you want to sign up to be a part of our stream and donate some money to some cool charities while you're watching us rip open 84 booster boxes of Monarch First Edition, head over to KitchenTableTCG.com and click on the link there to be a part of that. Hope you have a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you, and we'll see you tomorrow for Welcome to Wraith.